have to answer to these two questions. Sincerely from your heart. No theoretical answers. We move on now. We will see a small clipping of what Swami says about music, and then taking this as the major thing, we will try and find out answers. Listen to it with absolute attention, take it into your heart, because the entire session is going to revolve around this.
నాగరాజు వీరందరూ కూడాను ఇట్టి రాగతాళంతో చేరినటువంటి గానమనే భగవంతునికి మాధుర్యంగా అందించి వారు అతి మధురమైనటువంటి భావాన్ని పొందారు.
That's the reason why people sang the glory of God in music with all the tunes and the beat made God happy.
కనుక ఈ గానము లోపల ఇంత మాధుర్యం ఉంటుండాలి.
That is the greatness and the sweetness in music.
ఇట్టి గానం చేత మనం భగవంతుని ఏ విధంగానైనా పొందవచ్చును.
With music you can please God.
కనుక భగవంతుని మనం పొందాలనుకుంటే గానం చేతనే మనం భగవంతుని పొందాలి.
It is only music that takes you to the proximity of the divine.
హృదయాన్ని అర్పితం చేసి
offering your heart to God
దీంతో ఒక రాగమును కలిపి
and adding tune to that.
గానం చేస్తే భగవంతుడు తప్పక మీకు కనిపిస్తుంటాడు.
And sing wholeheartedly, you'll see God
ఏ బజార్లో మీరు పోతున్నప్పటికీ తప్పక మీకు కనిపిస్తుంటాడు.
You'll certainly find him.
ఇటువంటి రాగము నేర్చుకునేటువంటి వాడు ఏదో కొన్ని పాటల వల్ల పద్యాల వల్ల భగవంతుని ప్రార్థిస్తూ నిరాశకు గురి అవుతున్నారు.
Those that cannot sing in praise of God, they are disappointed, they are frustrated.
కానీ ఆ విధంగా డిసప్పాయింట్కి ఏమాత్రమో మీరు అవకాశం అందించకండి.
Never be disappointed under any circumstances.
ఎందుకు డిసప్పాయింట్ వస్తుంది? మొదలై నీవు అపాయింట్ చేసుకుంటే అది డిసప్పాయింట్ వస్తుంది.
The disappointment is because of prior appointment.
నీవు మొదలై నీవు అపాయింట్ చేసుకోవద్దు.
But you don't have any appointment at the beginning.
తోచినప్పుడు నీకు ఏది తెలుస్తుందో దాన్ని నీవు గానంతో చెప్పు.
Express in the form of music as you feel.
ఇది ఏ భగవంతుని పొందడానికి సులభమైన మార్గం.
This is an easy path to attain God.
కృష్ణావతారంలో పొందినటువంటి యొక్క ఆనందము మరి ఏ అవతారంలో కూడా ఎవరు కూడా పొందలేదు.
The bliss enjoyed by the people in Krishna's age, in the incarnation of Krishna, no one else ever enjoyed that blissful state.
కనుక మీరు కృష్ణావతారంలో పొందినటువంటి యొక్క అనుభూతిని మీరు జ్ఞప్తి అందించుకొని మీరు కూడా మీకు తోచినటువంటి జ్ఞానం చేత భగవంతుని పాడుకొని ఆనంద పెట్టండి.
You think those days of Krishna, incarnation, and sing in glory of God and enjoy the same state of bliss even today.
ఈ గానలోలుడైనటువంటి యొక్క కృష్ణుడు,
Krishna who loves music,
మనోలోలుడైపోతుంటాడు.
also loves the human heart.
ఇటువంటి మనస్సుకు ఒక్క పాట మాత్రమే సరిపోతుంది.
And it is only the music that melts the heart.
కృష్ణ అవతారంలో లీనమైనటువంటి యొక్క భక్తులు మరి ఏ అవతారం కూడా ఎవరికి ఆ విధంగా లీనం కాలేదు.
The kind of marja, the kind of culmination, climax in the path of devotion enjoyed by a devotee in Krishna's age never happened later.
భగవంతునితో ఏకమైపోయినారు.
In fact, many of the devotees, good lot of them merged in God in the times of Krishna.
దైవంలో మధ్య కావాలంటే ఒక గానమే ప్రధానమైనది.
It is only the divine music that helps the devotee to merge in the deity.
Swami has revealed quite a few things in this. We will take up some points from them, from the talk, and it may not be in the same sequence as Swami has told, and there is a purpose for changing the sequence, which will hopefully it will be clear to us towards the end. Let's first spend a few minutes on these 2 points. Initially, when this was made, the melting of the heart came first, and then the proximity to the divine came next. in absolute terms, without compromise, that has to be the case, because in absolute terms, not considering where we are in sadhana, proximity to the divine is at a very high level. And for attaining that proximity, at absolute terms, melting of the heart is very necessary. But then, when we step into the shoes of the devotees and then we try to understand the devotees at various levels in sadhana, then both the points were taken together. We will see few points on this. When we talk about proximity and the melting of the heart, let us assume for a moment that we are in the initial stage in the sadhana. Like I told, someone called us, or some Sampatji called you, or something happened through some way you entered into sadhana, and then somebody prompted you, or some call came from within that I should sing, or the coordinator insisted, or whatever. Actually, Swami does everything. All these things are instruments. So we start singing. When we start singing, what happens? Initially, it is attraction which brings us to sadhana, which brings us to this sanctum sanctorum. Gradually, this attraction develops into faith for Bhagavan when we start singing week after week. So, in this process of attraction and faith, we are getting nearer to Swami day by day, week by week. This is about the initial proximity. And then we talk about the initial melting. In all the bhakti scriptures which came later on, after the Upanishad era, melting per se connotes melting of the bhakta's heart. Okay? But in the initial proximity, in the initial stage, in a center, started singing or started following, there is something else in our heart which has to be melted before the heart itself melts. What is that? There was a devotee who sang about all this Hridaya Nivasi and Swami dwelling in his heart and everything. And then he sort of prayed to Swami, come reside in my heart. To which Swami told, all right, I'm prepared to come. But then when you are expecting some visitors at your home, how much you do your housekeeping, how much you clean your home, and you are inviting Purna Avatar to come and stay in your heart. Have you ever looked into that heart? And Swami used a very plain line. Look how dirty that heart is. Okay. Now what is the dirt? It is the ego which we carry with us, dressed in white and white, decked in sari, with all pallu covered, and then with all sairams, with all humility, with everything. And we keep saying so many things, everything Swami does. And see, Swami wants us to work in the organization, so we are involved in the organization. So we as instruments of Sai should take up these things for Swami, and then all these things. And then we give this, within quote, we use these words very often, that what I am doing, everything is by Swami's grace, everything is Swami is doing. Okay. Let us be very clear about this. When we say whatever I am doing is due to Sai's grace. This whatever I am doing and Sai's grace, these both are contradictory to each other. Because if you really believe, heart of heart, in your puja room, sitting before Swami, that you are breathing, you are living, you are existing due to Swami's grace, believe me, that moment onwards, this I am will not come. Even if you someone points out a bullet and then asks you, you cannot say I am doing this. I have done this. I have done this service. I have sang this. I did this. But then not to leave alone Swami, because to bribe Swami we say, no, I have done with Swami's grace. All I have done for Swami. Okay. As if Swami doesn't. Okay. Let me make one thing very clear. All these things you can take, Satya is saying for himself. Okay. Let us be very clear. So, you go home and think for yourself. In the objective answer we say yes, no, not applicable. So you see, whatever he told, whether it applies to me, yes. It applies to me, no. It is totally irrelevant, not applicable. So remove it. So whatever I am saying, because I have gone through all these stages of ego from 1976 up to 2010. When Swami convincingly uprooted that ego, convincingly it can be told before Swami, can look into Swami's eyes. Till then, this Satya in white and white was bloating in ego, looking very sincere, looking very polite, looking very obliging, and all those things. Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. And then carrying on that this thing that everything I am doing. So, with the initial proximity, this initial ego has to be melted before we experience that love which melts your heart ultimately. Okay. Now, this ego has to, okay, we are like two tracks of the of a train, of railway. On one side we are nearing Swami, on the other side we are carrying this ego. Okay, in our heart, nobody can doubt us. And sometimes we befool ourselves, we think that we are not carrying that ego. Sincerely. Very few people are very much aware of the fact that we are full of ego. Most of us think, no, I am very simple, no ego is there. I am just thinking for Swami, I am doing for Swami. We unknowingly we carry this ego. Okay, both things are going on. Now, this ego has to be melted. Whom to approach? Okay, why do we sing all this? Bhakti do mere Sai Shiva, Shakti do mere Sai Shiva, because for everything, for anything, for everything, he is the only solution. Swami told what that dirt, only we have to take to recourse to Swami only to remove that dirt. Whatever we do deliberately, it is not going to go. And we need not feel very bad about it, because having born as human being, all of us carry this ego with us. Okay. But for this ego, we would have been realized souls, realized masters in the very beginning. Now, whom else to pray but Swami? We cry unto Swami. ये गर्व भरा मस्तक मेरा प्रभु चरण धूल तक झुकने दे, अहंकार विकार भरे मन को निज नाम की माला जपने दे, ये गर्व भरा मस्तक मेरा. Oh Lord, even when I am gaining proximity to you, I am singing week after week or twice a week or whatever, and I am nearing you. I am aware that this mastak, this head is full of that garb, full of that ego. Grace me, give me the grace so that this head, what is the significance week after week when we place our head on this lotus feet? The significance is that this stupid head is having so much ego. Let me just put my head on at your lotus feet so that every week, every Thursday, some rotten part of that ego, let it go. And Swami can only do. One devotee was very, very angry with Swami, sort of, because he was not calling him or he was not looking at him, and he was not he was sort of ignoring him. That Swami is that's called Swami's Ignore Upanishad. Swami teaches so many things. When you go and sit there for 1 week, 5 days, 6 days, Swami would not look at you. And my God, in those 5-6 days, the kind of transformation you undergo, he makes sure that all your ego, and from the last darshan to this darshan, whatever mistakes you have done, you have cried enough, and all those things are taken out, and then he comes floating, and then he gives you Pada Namaskar. He gives you some indication that yes, he is aware that with those tears you have washed off all those things. Okay, so while I am aware that I am having this ego, Bhagwan, who else but you can help me remove that ego? So अहंकार विकार भरे मन को निज नाम की माला जपने दे. Okay, this heart is full of ego, this heart is full of dirt, but then a week after week, whether I am a singer, whether I know music or I am a follower, let me cry out, let me chant your name, let me sing your bhajans day after day, so that in that bhajan, in that sacred chanting, with the experience which I am getting every week, slowly, 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 let this ego come down, come down, come down. Next. All these are Swami's words from that link which we are following. With music you please the God. How it happens? Because Swami, we have heard this line in Ramayana, Raghukul Reet Sada Chali Aaye, Pran Jaye par Vachan na Jaye. And if Swami has given us one line, one assurance that you take one step towards me, I will take 100 steps towards you. And we have taken that step sincerely, and we have really surrendered to Swami, and then we have told, remove this ego and then make me pure. Okay, why would Swami not come near us? Why would Swami not be pleased with our efforts? Ego is not fully gone. We have not become realized souls, but then we have taken sincere efforts. Okay, we have been communicating to Swami in the privacy, in the shrine. So Swami is bound to get pleased. Next. Okay, here, how we are praying out to Swami to clear all our sins, to remove this ego, and then grant us his divine darshan. This darshan is not a simple darshan. It can't be explained now. It's going to take too much time. Let's see later. The devotee sings this thus. आओ आओ साईं प्यारे, कीर्तन करो मैं साईं तुम्हारे। आओ आओ साईं प्यारे, तुम हो मेरे नयनों के तारे, दर्शन दो जीवन के सहारे, दर्शन दो जीवन के सहारे। आओ आओ साईं प्यारे। The devotee, out of love, beckons Swami, pleads to Swami, calls Swami, as if we tempt a child with a laddu. He says the bhajan is so sacred, so he says Kirtan karo main. So I'm sincerely chanting your name, sincerely singing your bhajans. Come Swami, come Swami, be pleased with me, come to me, bless me with your divine darshan. We will speak about this darshan in future. What Swami replies? Swami says, Bangaru, I have always been waiting at your doorstep. I have not just pressed that calling bell, but I have always been waiting. How? Like I waited for Pundalika. I've been waiting for you. I was just wanting you to cleanse off that heart and remove that dirt and then call to me sincerely, Aao, Aao, Sai, Pyare. I was just waiting for that only. Because in Treta Yuga, there were thousands and thousands. In Dwapara Yuga, it came to hundreds and hundreds. Now, when I look at who are coming to me sincerely, I am seeing just about 10-15 people. So the queue is very less. I am really willing to grant everything to you. You just come to me. Shed off that ego. So Swami is pleased. With music, you will find God. There is this famous question, why God created man, or why God created this earth? Very few masters have addressed this question, and out of all, I have read almost, I might have missed out a few, but I have read out almost all the answers of all masters. The most convincing answer to this, which is given in the blog in the first theme, Purpose of Human Birth, Paramahamsa Yogananda says, though he means God, though he had everything from eternity to eternity, he began to think, I am all powerful and I am joy itself, but there is no one else to enjoy me. And he thought, as he began to create, I will make souls in my image and clothe them as human beings with free choice to see, now this main thing, now we are coming to that, to see whether they will seek my material gifts and the temptations of money, wine and sex, or whether they will seek the million times more intoxicating joy of my consciousness. Leave alone consciousness. He says, whether I have created the human beings, and in the Maya, I have created this world of all these glittering objective pleasures. I have Ishwaram Sakshi Bhutam. I am just a witness, and I have given you some choice to choose between the two. Okay? And I sincerely, I am more eager that you should come to me than you can ever imagine. Okay? But then I have given you the choice whether you are going to choose the material pleasures given by me, created by me, or you are going to come to me and you are going to take that million times more intoxicating joy of my love. And then we see a line in the pictures now, and thereafter they lived happily ever after. See here, and thereafter man forgot God totally. When man was given this choice between the material gift and he himself, Swami hanging around in this photo every week, doesn't speak, doesn't shout, doesn't punish, doesn't do anything. Okay, and we can always give a one internet line to him, BRB. Okay, you hang out there, let me finish off with all my material things, this property, this house, this marriage, this jewels, this whatnot, power, fame, all those things. When I am sick, when there is nobody to attend to me, okay, you are anyway, you were there in that photo only, and you are continue to be in that photo only. What is the hurry? I will come to you. You wait for me. We made him wait. Now, about finding God, only in these two choices, we sincerely make effort, and then we have known truthfully in our heart that, okay, it is not about sannyasa, it is not about not enjoying any material things. No, Swami doesn't say. Okay, a person who left everything, his parents who needed his service very badly, they were sick. He left everything and came to Swami, and he was driven away from the bus stand. Swami sent a volunteer and told him, go attend to your parents, go fulfill all your worldly things, and then come to me. Swami allows us to enjoy our material benefits, our material comforts, job, career, everything. Okay, but then all along it is expected that, okay, these things are there in society for us, for our family, but this is not the end of everything. This is not ultimately what we want. These are all required. We must pursue. We must get everything. Not even one Swami has told, take to celibacy or get sannyasa, come to me, renounce everything. No. Few people he has told Karunyananda, he has told few people who have reached that ripened state, not the grahasthas. Okay. So, while this pursuing the material things goes on one side, on the other side, when we have heart of heart, we have found that reaching Swami and immersing in love and losing our heart to his love, this is the only purpose why I am born, in very simple terms, leave alone God realization, everything. Then at that moment only, we find Swami within us, not in that 5 feet 2 inch orange robe Satya Sai Baba. We find Swami within our heart as love. Okay, we came to Sai Center, we gained proximity to Bhagavan. Side by side, we were making efforts to melt our ego, and then with our efforts and sincere efforts, we found that new experience of the never before love sprouting in our heart, and this love was expanding day by day, and Swami was pleased with us, and we have started that subtle communication with Swami, no matter where we are, in the office or at home or performing whatever, up to this stage, our efforts are required. Up to pleasing the God and finding the God, it is deliberate efforts are required. The last mergence, that has to happen. You cannot pursue anything, 7 steps to success and all those things doesn't work in spirituality. Up to finding God, okay. But in the emergence, the more you immerse in Swami, the more you lose out to Swami, the more your heart expands. Then only this ultimate merger happens. How this merger happens? What is this merger actually? साईनाथ के शरण में आओ, मन मंदिर में दीप जलाओ। साईनाथ के शरण में आओ, मन मंदिर में दीप जलाओ। जीवन नैया पार लगाओ, अब जीवन नैया पार लगाओ। सदा निरंतर हरि गुण गाओ। साईनाथ के शरण में आओ. This is our initial stage of gaining proximity to Swami and then uprooting our ego. And once this stage is crossed, मन मंदिर में दीप जलाओ. What is this? What is this deep? We have, note these words, we have lighted the lamp of love in our heart. But how did we do that? Like we take the wick and then show to one light, and then this also gets during the Deepavali lighting of all those diyas. What we have done, we have approached Swami, we have surrendered to Swami, and then we have found Swami, and then we have approached Swami and then taken that love, that Swami, God is love, living love. We have taken that light of supreme love which never puts off, and through that, that is the source, and we have taken that from that source and we have ignited that love in our heart. Okay? That love and this love is the same. Okay, Swami says, I am God and you are God. It's only that I know that I am God. You don't know that you are God. Okay, we have taken that same light and we have lit the lamp of love in our heart. And this is glowing, this is expanding day by day, day by day, day by day. And what happens ultimately? जीवन नैया पार लगाओ. What happens? I missed out on one part. What happens in Vedanta? There is a verse in Atma Bodh. I will just leave alone that verse. We'll link it with this because that becomes a little difficult. Shankaracharya in Atma Bodha, he writes about a verse where he says, he gives an example of a Kataka nut. Okay, search Google and say, I have not seen that Kataka nut. I have read in Vedanta. What is the property of that Kataka nut? If in a glass of water, it has a lot of dirt. You put this Kataka nut in that. What it does, it removes all the dirt. And then after all the dirt is removed, this nut also dissolves in the water. Okay. How it is linked to Vedanta, we will leave that. We will take that example straight away and come here, jump here. What happens? In this example, if we have to relate to that, our ego is the dirt. The heart filled with love is the kataka nut. The water is love. Dissolving of the ego. Okay. Dissolving of that ego. Once that ego is dissolved, what remains? Pure water. Okay. We used this love. Through this love, we conquered our ego. Once this ego is gone, then this heart in which ego was there, once this ego is gone, ultimately this heart has also to go. How it goes? The heart expands and the heart is filled only with love. Okay. And when the heart is filled only with love, Swami being love himself, and we have lost cognizance of our ego, and our heart, now we don't even know whether our heart is existing. All mundane activities are going on day by day, but then our heart has expanded to that extent, and it's filled with so much of love that this love has gone and merged with that love supreme. So neither I exist nor Swami exists. All that exists is that Prema Sagara, that supreme love. That is the Jivana Naya Paralagao. Now, certain tips for bhajans. Always keeping the focus. Don't get into the nuances of all these technicalities of this. Always keep the focus as gaining proximity to God, pleasing God, finding God, and emergence. Only with that focus, these points have to be taken. You cannot ignore all those points and then go to only these points. The source for bhajans. Especially the new singers, in our enthusiasm, what we do, we pick up bhajans from YouTube, we pick up bhajans from music composers and those who are giving concerts in Prashanti Nilayam or outside, and we try to follow them. Okay, please, if you can trust me, and if you can respect the words, no YouTube from today onwards. No listening to famous composers and trying to copy them from today onwards. Because if you take the example of Ravi Nasiri, who is composed many bhajans, his famous bhajans are this Janani Ma, Sai Janani Ma, or Shatabar Kaho Sai, or Veena Dukhiyo Se. Believe me, if you click 10 times 10 various links, he would be rendering his bhajans in 10 different ways. Because he is a music composer, he knows the raga, and he can play with the raga. Okay, don't do it. Okay, again this ego part plays a major part here. We want to listen to all tough bhajans, we want to copy all difficult singers, best singers, because we want to satisfy all. And even while we go silently here, we want someone to come to us and help. Okay? And we desperately need somebody. This should not happen. Because when we keep this as the focus, all the focus which we have learned till now, it is gone. This I ego has gone. We are singing for ourselves and we are singing to please Swami or to find Swami. Next. Select bhajans appropriate to suit your singing level. Very important, again linked to that ego part only. All bhajans are not meant to be sung by all. Let us face it, let us be very clear about it. Just because I have a voice and I can throw out my voice, it doesn't mean that I can sing any bhajan. Everybody has some plus point in singing and many minus points in singing. Be aware of that. Okay, and then select bhajans. I am not telling small bhajans or big bhajans, nothing. Select bhajans appropriate to your singing ability. What is the benchmark? What is the litmus test for this? For approving, for getting through this? Sing the bhajan in your puja room, in front of Swami, when no disturbance is there. And feel Swami there. There is bhajan coordinator cannot do anything. He would not offend you or she would not offend you after all. They would say a couple of times. Then they will say, of course, it's between you and Swami. In the privacy of your puja room, sit and sing to Swami. Feel Swami. You have gained proximity to Swami. You have pleased Swami. All those things are over. So, you feel within your heart whether Swami is pleased with your bhajan. That is the thing. When you have passed this test, you have passed the test of all technicalities, all theoretical advice which a coordinator would give, you please Swami. And if you feel, you are your best judge. If you feel that Swami is not pleased with the bhajan, just leave the bhajan. Okay? And focus is here to please God. Let us be very clear about it. There is no other focus on this. Next. Then comes to, we have selected the bhajan, we have sought the right source. The best source is Radio Sai Bhajan classrooms, where they will give you the essence of the bhajans also, and also they are going to be teaching in a proper way, line by line. Best source is that. Or go to a bhajan expert, your coordinator or a bhajan expert, who knows your limitations. Just don't go to anybody like that. Who knows your limitations, who knows your plus points, and then don't tell him or her, please record this bhajan for me. No. Please record whatever bhajan is suitable for me. Allow them to take over. Let them select and let them record it for you. And then follow it. And then now about the practice day. You have chosen the bhajan from the right source, you have practiced, okay, you are coming on the practice day. Bhajan coordinator says, take some other bhajan, please. No questions asked. If you raise your eyebrow and see, then your big ego has just won over you. Okay, with whatever little music knowledge, this Satya in Delhi, he went and sat. Bhavani was the coordinator. He sang that Om Jai Jai. Om Jai Janani Sai Mata. Reasonably, he thought he was singing okay. She just told, and she is maybe 20 years younger than him. She told Satyaji, please change the bhajan. Believe me, a thought did not come into this mind. Change means change, finished. That should be the approach. If you want to really take this up as a sadhana and progress. Next. Now, as I told you, in the stage of merger, all your efforts are over. I told you, in that Jeevan Naiya Paar Lagao, okay, your efforts are all over, then it has to happen. So, up to walking into this hall on a Thursday, up to that all efforts you have pleased Swami and you have taken concurrence of your bhajan coordinator and then you have come. Here, when you sit, you should try slowly. From day one it is difficult, but you have to reach to the stage where there is no sadhan, there is no percussionist, there are no singers, there are no followers. Initially it is just you and Swami, and ultimately it is just that love, nothing else. Okay, all these concepts that do not work, that bhajan is also a service. When we sing well, we are serving all others. Who is serving is the major question mark. There that ego comes. Okay, you are not doing any service. You help yourself. Then only you can help the world. Okay, you merge with the Lord, and then in that merger, when it comes from within, in that love supreme, when you sing Satya Jyoti Jalao, Prem Jyoti Jalao, Anand Jyoti Jalao, Anand Jyoti Jalao. When you sing that Ananda Jyoti Jalao, how much Ananda is coming from within? How much you are immersed in that bliss? When you are really immersed in that bliss, the service is done. You don't have to think of serving others. Okay? Everybody is going to carry that Ananda with them. Be very sure about it. Only when you merge or you progress toward merger with God, then along with that, you take all others with you. It just happens. You don't deliberate on. You don't have to bother about how other is clapping. You don't have to bother about how the percussion is doing that. You don't have to bother about how that singer is singing bad. All those things are all ego factors. You just merge in God. Full stop. Brother Hari, Swami asks him, which place you are from US? He tells, okay, this place, this place. Okay, you are going to Sai Center? No, Swami. And he is a very good singer. No, Swami, I am not. Why? He tells, they are not singing good at all. Okay. Then Swami says, how does it stop you? Your role as a singer is to judge others, or you are going to the Sai Center to merge with me? You have to get the answer from your heart. Believe me, in 2004, one very elderly gentleman here, is not in Muscat, I am not naming him. He told me one line, and that time, Mr. Satya was in super ego. Because he came from Delhi, he was acclaimed, he was made the bhajan coordinator, and all in soaring at highest level of ego. No. One who has transcended the ego, he will have no shame in telling how much egoistic one is. Okay. He told Satya, I will tell you one thing. There is nothing called good bhajans or bad bhajans. If you are really focusing on God, every bhajan should take you to God. Okay, there is a two-way responsibility in that. As singers, we have to follow all those things. we have to approach the right source, and then we have to select proper bhajan suitable to us. We have to take the bhajan coordinator's concurrence, and then we have to practice to please the God, and then we have to merge. Okay, when we are sincerely following this, obviously we will not be taking a bhajan which is not up to our level. Believe me, this voice is there. This voice can be thrown out. After listening to Eradi brothers singing 17, 18 years, leave alone 18 years, 40 years I have not taken that bhajan. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om Narayana. I have not taken that because I found that song so fulfilling in their voice. So given a choice to me, I would let them sing. And it's about merging with God. That is the focus. How does it matter? Every bhajan you need not pick up just because you have got a voice. Every bhajan is not meant for everybody. You go through this and please Swami in your puja room. Swami is the best judge. Bhajan coordinator cannot judge. Bhajan coordinator will be not rude with you. 2 times, 3 times he or she will tell. Afterwards they will leave. Okay. Now coming to the concluding part. Except for few who, as I told, are born in a Sai family right from the beginning and are into Sai fold. And except for few who are very spiritually advanced right from the beginning, and then they approach Swami or their chosen God, deity. Wherever Sai is told, you can replace with your chosen deity. There is nothing, no reservations in that. Everything is the same. The experience has to be there, right? Most often it is said, Kunti Devi told Krishna, all of us are aware, that Krishna, don't take me out of this pain, because once I am out of this pain, I may tend to forget it. Okay? So, what happens in most cases, you try to relate to this. We approach God and we cry out to God, we go to Puttaparthi and we take up all the sadhana, singing everything. Why? Because we may not realize, just to do an introspection after reaching home, there is a sense of incompleteness within us. Somewhere we are lacking that love. Okay, I need you to really find rest for my restless soul. Okay, we approach with that. What happens? How do we cry out to that Lord when we find some kami, some incompleteness? We don't find that love in our heart. मोहब्बत की कमी दिल में अगर एहसास होता है, जरा झांको तो पाओगे कि साई पास होता है। We have searched for this love in everything in this world. We have not got that love. Our own kith and kin, our own spouse, our own family, all those whom we believe to be our bosom friends, we have not got that love. So after getting defeated, searching for that love in the world, what we have to do? Zara jhanko, go within. And there you find that Swami's love. Okay? And once this is going on, you are finding that love. Then we move on to this next stage. Actually, this bhajan was composed this way only. Afterwards, it was changed. Now, how the dimension changes? मोहब्बत का कभी दिल में अगर एहसास होता है, जरा झांको तो पाओगे कि साईं पास होता है. Either it was मोहब्बत की कमी, in the sense of incompleteness we approached Lord, okay, and then we turned inward. Now what is happening? We are growing towards that pleasing God, finding God. We are going towards that Manu Mandir mein deep jalao. What happens? Whenever that there is that upsurge of love, whenever there is that blood ananda within us, we either before it was incompleteness, now when that love, that bhajan, we find some experience which we are not able to explain. And then when we go within and see, we find that Swami's love flowing within us. Also, this is not there. Now, Jeevan Naiya Par Lagao has not come till now. Because, what is the line? Mohabbat ka kabhi. So it is only kabhi kabhi. So it is not eternally. Okay. Now when he reaches that stage of eternity, my bhajan guru is from Delhi. He composes bhajan Prem Ishwar hai. So there is in the line is there, har dhadkan mein sai sama hai. Okay. When we are merging with that Lord, that means neither I am there, not Swami is there. We are not that much focusing on the Swami's photo and his face anymore, because right from the moment we have entered this place and we have started singing or following, that upsurge of love, that ananda is there, that love is there. So in that ocean of love, neither I am there nor Swami is there. Because Swami is also essentially love. I am also essentially love that has been discovered. Then, with the permission of the composer, how Satya changes these lines, taking clue from the composition, Har Dhadkan Mein. जब से इस धड़कन में साईं समाया है, जिन्हें देखूं जिसे देखूं जहां देखूं तो साईं, सिर्फ साईं दिखता है. Now the dimension has changed. Now the merger has happened. Now what has happened? Now, इस धड़कन में I, हृदय निवासी, I have discovered the Lord as love within my heart, and He has not come into my heart to go ever. He is eternally as Hridaya Nivasi, not in that form, but as supreme love. He is eternally. जब से इस धड़कन में साई को पाया है, when I have found the Swami in the cave of my heart as that supreme love, जिन्हें देखूं, whichever human beings, living beings I see, जिसे देखूं, whatever non, Swami चरा अचर, सकल चराचर हे भगवान. Okay, you are there. कण कण में साई समाया है. So in living or non-living, wherever I see in the entire creation, I don't find any of these things per se, but I see and I am experiencing only Sai, only Sai, Sai as supreme love. Now, about the answer sheets, all of you take back home, communicate with Swami in the privacy, in your shrine, where except Swami and you, nobody else is there, and you see for yourself, no matter where you are, in bhajan singing, in sadhana, but you see whether these answers what I have written now, the dimension must change. It has not changed now, immediately. But you find yourself, you communicate with Swami and then see if what ought to be the answers at the end of my journey in bhajan singing. Note down those answers, ought to be answers, and then keep it in your shrine at his lotus feet, or better you bring it Thursday and then keep at his feet, and then mujhe shakti do mere Sai Shiva, give me the strength to experience this answer which I have written as ought to be at the end of my journey. Right?